Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into Stammergeddon 3.0, as it has been dubbed here on a Tuesday. The JP Peterson Show. We thank you so much for joining us. We got another fantastic packed show for you today. Some of the biggest and best names in local sports media will be joining us to talk about the Lightning, the Buccaneers, college football, all kinds of fun stuff. Bobby the Chief Taylor will join us at 10:15. Maybe if I move my mic over here, it'll be better, Tim. What do you think?
I was about to text you to say, check your mic.
Yeah. All right. How about that? Is that better?
There you are.
Hey, dumbass. I'm still shook, man. I'm still shook over the what's going on over the past 48 hours. So Bobby the Chief Taylor joined us at 10:15 to talk about Steven Stamkos, the Lightning. We're going to talk about Jake Gensel too. How about that? You remember that? Yeah, he actually signed with the Lightning. Not that anybody is talking about poor Jake Gensel. Yeah,
Nobody's talking about the ones that are here. They're talking about the one that's not here.
The biggest fish in the free agent pool landed in Tampa Bay, and everybody's like, meh. And I get it, and I understand why. And I feel you, fans. So I'm not dissing you fans at all. And we're going to get into all that. So we'll talk to Chief at 10:15. Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report's going to join us. We'll talk about the training camp battles that are coming up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, football season is not far away, Timmy Ham. Thank God. And good morning to you, by the way, from our DSP media affiliate over in Dallas. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, Tampa. It's a brisk 104 degrees here at 9:02 a.m. Central Time in Dallas already.
No, it's not 104. No,
you know what the low was last night? 99.
And what's your thermostat stat at?
67.
Did you hear that, Ash? 67.
67 degrees in my home office / home.
And your electric bill's $1,000.
You know, it's worth every penny.
It's worth, yeah. I hear you, bro. Yeah, so anyway, Scott Reynolds joined us at 10:30. Corey Long, who covers the Lightning and college football and everything else, the Renaissance man that he is going to join us at 11:15. And I was definitely going to get him on this week, but he texted me last night. He's like, I want to get on. I'm like, it's cathartic, man. You gotta get your feelings out. And I get it. You guys can do it in the comments section, or you can always do that on our YouTube page at the JP Peterson Show or at FanStream Sports. You could do that on Facebook as well. So let's get into it. And yes, Hedman is back. That's kind of the headline this morning. Victor Hedman is back. 4 years, $8 million. He's old too, by the way. But he's an elite defenseman. And his numbers, especially 5-on-5 last year, a plus 12, a plus 18 rating. And I think so much of this, Stamkos, Hedman, and all these things are about becoming a better 5-on-5 team. And that's, I think, what a lot of people don't understand about what JBB is trying to do. And they're all caught up in their emotions. And I get it. We're going to play a lot of sound this morning from Steven Stamkos, JBB, national pundits who have weighed in on this as well, just to give kind of a feeling of it. I will say this, and we talked a lot about this yesterday, so I don't want to repeat myself, but not everybody saw yesterday's show. I was surprised, and the reason why I was surprised is because I thought that this organization valued Steven Stamkos a lot more than they actually did, and that's okay, by the way. The Tampa Bay Lightning are in the business of being competitive and winning cups. They're not in the business of making everybody feel good. That's not what they're in the business to do. And if the Lightning can lift the cup or go further in the playoffs, the Tampa Bay fans will forgive JBB for this particular move. And as I've said, JBB, Julien Brisebois, deserves the benefit of the doubt at this point because he put this team over the top with the moves that he made, and won 2 Stanley Cups and went back to a third final. Those are the facts. He deserves some leeway here. And we'll present both sides of it. And this is one of these things where I would like to stand on a soapbox and take one side of this story, but I don't feel that way. I feel very conflicted. And yes, I work for the organization. Yes, I do. I'm not a full-time employee, but I work for the organization. And I think I have a better perspective than maybe most fans do. As more, being a trained objective journalist for most of my career, I do try to tap into it. It's not easy. And I have a lot of feelings about Steven Stamkos. But the thing that I keep coming back to is, and the sound that we heard from Steven Stamkos yesterday, it says that he was more than willing to give a hometown discount. He was not expecting 4 years, $32 million, what he got from Nashville from the Tampa Bay Lightning. He was not asking for that, from what I've been told. But he was asking, according to Julien Brisebois, for more than the Lightning were willing to give. And fans will say, well, you just gave Hedman $32 million. You're going to be playing Jake Gensel when he's 35 years old, $9 million. Jake Gensel ain't done squat for this team. I get that. But that's also down the road. And in order to sign Jake Gensel right now, you have to pay him this type of money. So I think that comparison is a little bit out of whack. Okay. I get it. And it sounds good, but it's not the way the business works. Okay. And, when Jake Gensel gets to be 35 years old, let's see what the Lightning do with that contract. They also paid Sergei a couple of years ago. They got rid of that contract. So contracts come and go, right? This is about right now, and it's about making this team better right now. And this is what Julien Brisebois felt. So let me get to a little bit of sound here early on before we get to Chief. And this is the freshest piece of sound from yesterday when the reality had finally sunk in with Steven Stamkos. And he was on with TSN. And this is, I think, pretty fresh and pretty raw from Steven Stamkos yesterday.
Like, what happened? Like, you're the captain, you're Mr. Tampa Bay. What happened?
Yeah, to be completely honest, Army, I found myself asking the same question. And the more people I talked to, everyone seemed to share that same sentiment, which is puzzling and strange. And at the end of the day, there was no question that I was willing to put all that stuff aside to remain a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like I said, my family and I absolutely loved playing for that city and playing for the players that are there. It just seemed like maybe not everyone thought that way. And listen, I'm a big boy. I can handle that. We went about doing our business. I thought I played extremely well this year, regardless of the contract distraction, and just, told them at the beginning of the year that it wasn't going to affect my play, and that's something that I was proud of. So, listen, we wanted it to end and retire as a Tampa Bay Lightning. It certainly didn't work out, but at the end of the day, in order to look yourself in the mirror, you have to just be honest with yourself, know your self-worth, know what loyalty and respect means to you, and move on. And that's why it's been so exciting for our family. Once we kind of got over that hump, we kind of zeroed in on a few teams, with Nashville being very high on that list, and just the mutual interest from day one, how aggressive they were, how accommodating they were in terms of any questions or concerns, and it just seemed like a natural fit, and we're so excited.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Seems like he's as befuddled as the rest of us, huh?
Yeah. How's that hit you? I mean, when I first heard that, I was like, wow, whoa.
It's pretty telling.
You noticed he said, the players and the fans. He did not say the organization.
Yeah.
And the organization. So he's clearly not happy about this. And I understand that. I totally understand that. What he's given to this franchise for, taking less money early on, but that worked out for both sides. Steven Stamkos has been richly paid. Could he made a little bit more money going to Toronto in 2016? Yeah. Would he have 2 cups? No, he wouldn't, because it's Toronto. So would he trade the more money for 2 cups? Hell freaking no, he would not. Right. So he made the right decision then, and it wasn't based on money, as we always say. One of the codicils here on the JP Peterson Show: do never make a decision solely based on money. You will screw yourself. And it worked out for both sides wonderfully. What's disjointed is, at the end of the exit interviews, we want Steven Stamkos back. He should be a Bolt for life. Julien Brisebois said that. John Cooper said that. The verbiage of which the organization was speaking about, and what the way they spoke about Steven Stamkos behind closed doors, not only in public, was was a message to me and everybody else that they're going to find a way to get this deal done. And this is why I was so, when they opened up the cap space, I was so certain this deal was done, because now you have the money to meet him at where he needs to be. And this is according to Steven Stamkos. Julien Brisebois has a very different story to tell, and he will tell it right now in terms of where they were on money. So let's listen to this.
Start off by stating the obvious. I know that it is disappointing that I was not able to come to terms with Steven Stamkos on a contract to keep him within the organization. I know the fans are disappointed. I know Steven's disappointed, and I'm disappointed. Like everyone, I wanted Stammer to stay in Tampa and finish his career with the Lightning. But like for every player, there were also limits. I felt like we had limits that I felt like were the limits that we could allocate in terms of cap space to him. And obviously, Stammer is sincere in all of his statements saying that he wanted to stay in Tampa. That shouldn't be questioned. He definitely wanted to stay in Tampa. But at the same time, it was clear throughout our process that he also had financial expectations that he expected us to meet. And
there you go.
Ultimately, I felt and made the decision that if I agreed to the terms that he wanted in order to get a deal done, I would not be putting ourselves in the best position to chase championships going forward. And ultimately, we need to make decisions that are in the best interest of the team's success.
Tally's upset.
I understand that Steven signing with the Nashville Predators today is going to overshadow any of the changes that have taken place within our organization in the last few weeks, in the last few days. But as I look ahead, I really like and I'm excited by what I see as taking shape for our organization going forward.
There's Julien Brisebois. So
it's like, what happened?
Sorry. So there's two sides to this story. And I think, fans are saying, as James did right here, JBB could have offered 4 years, $24 million and see what happens. But no, JBB offers 8 years, $24 million. Total disrespect. I don't know if I agree with the disrespect part of that. I get it that it sounds disrespectful, but the total package is very similar. It's not that far off. I mean, but did he offer 8 years, $24 million? We believe he did. But that $3 million, you start looking at what other players are making, and it's ugly. But the total value of the deal was not far off of what Nashville was offering. I mean, what is that? $8 million more. But obviously over a much longer term. But if you're Steven Stamkos and you have $75 million in the bank, which I think he does, I don't know, but it's, he's pretty smart with his money. He's done well in real estate. I know that. Right. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what those feelings are like. And I just know as a proud man, and I think Steven said it right there. You know when you're wanted. You got the one hot chick over here who loves you and wants you and is just throwing money at you, and the other girl you love dearly and been with for forever, but she's kind of like, I can take it or leave it, whatever you want to do. It's hard. It's really hard. And for Steven Stamkos, it was like, okay, this is what my gut is telling me, and I got to go. And it's clear that the organization can feel what they feel. But he was clear that Steven Stamkos felt the organization did not want him here, and was throwing him, crumbs to basically say, look, here's an offer to say we gave an offer, but to Steven Stamkos, and I'm not saying this from the organization standpoint, but to Steven Stamkos, he felt that they didn't want him anymore, and he's a proud man. He's going to move on. So. I went through a lot of the comments of the Lightning's Instagram post. At the time there was about 700 comments, and I'd say 680 were eviscerating the team. And I'm not saying they're right. What I'm saying is the fan base is full pitchforks and torches. And this happened when John Lynch was let go. This happened when Derek Brooks let go. And you know what? The fans come back. The fans eventually come back. I get it. The only thing that's out there is I think to a lot of fans, that's a disconnect between what the organization was saying and what they did. I think that's where the fans are the most upset. But again, I think JBB deserves the reasonable doubt here. And I saw people line up all the names of all the players that he's gotten rid of, and there's a lot of great names on there. That's called the salary cap, people. You think he wanted to get rid of Yanni Gourde? No. Do you think they wanted to get rid of Ryan McDonough initially? Hell no. No, there's tons of players on that list that they didn't want to have to get rid of. It's called the salary cap. And I had some jamoke in Montreal telling me, oh, if there was no salary cap, the Montreal would be, we would, back in the days, we make the most money. And then that's where I said, dude, if there was no salary cap, Jeffrey Vinnick would have the best team in the league because he would have paid every one of those guys. Verhaeghe wouldn't have left. Marcia Show wouldn't have left. None of McDonough wouldn't have left. Goudreau, all of them. We could have kept the whole damn bunch together and won more cups. So don't come at me with that. All right, that's my take on this. We want to.
And you know what? Real quick, you know what solves all of this? What makes people forget? What makes Tampa Bay fans not forget about Steven Stamkos? Because you're not going to forget about him. Obviously, you don't want to. But to forgive this entire incident is win another cup, and then everybody will be like, "Oh, okay, no, we're good. We wish him luck."
JBB made the right move. Right, made the right move. Yeah. So we'll see. It's all going to play out. And I would just say the fans, maybe back off a little bit, give a little bit more deference to this organization that has proven they know what they're doing. And I think time will heal some of these wounds. If there's something that's lingering that we don't know about yet that comes out, we'll see. Somebody asked me if I thought, Cooper was part of this. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I don't think John Cooper. I think John Cooper knows his role and will say, and will give his opinion. But in the end, this is a JBB call. Mm-hmm. And again, he delivered 2 cups and another final. He deserves the reasonable doubt right now. If it doesn't work out, he deserves all the heat he's going to get.
And he will get.
Is getting. All right, quick break. When we come back, Bobby the Chief Taylor will join us. A longtime analyst of the Tampa Bay Lightning, knows Steven Stamkos as well as anybody. Very much looking forward for his perspective on this as well. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. It matters having a local, smaller firm as opposed to these national, bigger firms. So you don't want to be a number. You want to be somebody important, and they have your calls answered. That will happen at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. And, of course, our great friends at Hydrate Heroes. I got mine this morning. Go to tryhydrateheroes.com, get your free 3-pack, and you're going to taste it and absolutely love it. Tryhydrateheroes.com. Back in 3. Summer is here, and it's the perfect time to shine with the exquisite June birthstones, pearl, alexandrite, and moonstone at the Golden Diamond Source. Each gemstone carries its own unique significance and style, making them perfect for any summer occasion. Did you know the 30th anniversary milestone is pearl, the traditional stone for this special occasion? And right now you can enjoy 5 years of interest-free financing. That means you can own a stunning $5,000 ring and pay only $83 a month with 0 interest for 5 years. That's a great deal. And shop online and get 15% off the June birthstones. And we love our partners, local businesses that have been here for 40 years. That's right, the Golden Diamond Source has been here for 40 years. Julie and Steve Weintraub have done so much in our community. We thank them, and we shop there. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Happy summer. As we head into summer and hurricane season, you must make sure that your home is fully insured. Over 40% of people in Florida are not fully insured because property rates have gone up lately. Your home is worth more, so it needs to be insured. Call the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799 to make sure you're fully insured. And also, you might just save some money. There are new companies coming into the state all the time. In fact, we just shopped our homeowners insurance, and I'm telling you, folks, we saved over $550 because Charity, the great customer service at Italiano Insurance, did all the work and found us a better company and a cheaper company. She'll do the same for you. 813-877-7799. Do something about these high rates. Shop them around. Could save you lots of money. It's Italiano Insurance. Been doing business here locally for over 60 years. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you.
Hey, Tampa Bay sports fans. This is 2-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Gettys Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Gettys Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for TryHydrateHeroes.com. That's our new website where you can get a free 3-pack of the great Hydrate Heroes electrolyte hydration drink, all for free. Just go to TryHydrateHeroes.com. We'll send you a 3-pack. While you're there, go ahead and buy the 30-pack for just $29.99. Special going on, less than $1 a serving. For all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. Folks, a lot of these hydration drinks have tons of sugar, tons of calories. Hydrate Heroes, just 5 calories, and they have all the electrolytes in there, plus other stuff that's going to benefit you. A mushroom blend that will help with inflammation. So much other good stuff in there. None of the bad stuff. It's Hydrate Heroes. Go to TryHydrateHeroes.com and get your free 3-pack. The new Tropical Punch flavor is out, and it is fantastic. They'll send you some. Just go to TryHydrateHeroes.com. Get all the information there. Pick up a 30-pack as well. TryHydrateHeroes.com. All the good stuff, none of the bad stuff.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Pearson Show here as we roll through this Stammergeddon 3.0 on a Tuesday. That's an Eric Burlington moniker. We give him full credit for that. Brought to you by the great folks at Extravaganza Productions, the best in the business for your meeting, your charity event. Let them do all the work and be the creative force behind your great events. Go to extravaganzaproductions.com and tell them JP sent you. Give you a free creative meeting. All right, let's welcome in our good friend, Bobby the Chief Taylor.
He's in the building!
Yes, he is. He's covering this Lightning team and Steven Stamkos since he was born. What's up, Chief? How are you?
Pretty good, JP. A little surprised and disappointed that Stammer won't finish his career here. You know,
yeah, boy, you echo the feelings of a lot of people, myself included. You've been in this business a long time, and you've seen a lot of hard choices having to be made. Can't imagine this one. This may have been one of the toughest ones for both sides, but I'll just give you the floor. And what are your thoughts, feelings, and how this whole thing went down?
Well, you know, first of all, you got to look at it in the sense of Brisebois' view. You know, we've been knocked out in the first round the last 2 years.
Yep.
If you take a look at our team, we are very good offensively, mainly because we have the number 1 power play in the league.
Yep.
But we're up in the top, you know, what are we, 3rd, 4th, somewhere around there, maybe 5th at the most, at the least in power play or in offense.
Yeah.
Now, but you and I have talked about this for 2 years now, JP. We are probably the 5th or 6th worst defensive team in the league.
That ain't cutting it.
No, you can't win. I don't care what sport it is without having good defensive play. You know, and it's not all the defensemen; it's the whole team.
That's right.
Plus the system that they've got installed too. I don't believe that system that they're trying to jam down their throat really works. But nonetheless, so I think what they're looking at. First of all, you know, for me, the Sergachev trade was a shocker to me. I didn't see that coming, but they got better, you know, better players coming back for future. In other words, this geeky kid could be a real good player.
Yeah.
You know, definitely. Yeah, he's only 20 years old or 21 at the most.
20, yeah.
You know, he's a high draft pick at Arizona. I mean, the kid. Yeah, he was really a good scorer in junior, but he was also a very, very responsible defensive player. He's like, I think he's like plus 50 something as far as plus minus, So that really helps, and you. Then we sign a whole bunch of players. Think about defense is what they're really been looking for right now. You got that Moser kid. I don't know a whole lot about. Kind of looking at it, he's a European player, left-handed shot, which doesn't mean anything if you're European. They play both opposites. They play the opposite side more often than anything. So I think also too, when you sit with retrospect, JP, when you sign McDonough, you got Hedman and McDonough on the left side. We should have saw something like, because I knew they were going to have to do something to get some kind of, because they didn't have any real high draft picks. Yeah, and we haven't really had a whole lot of. I mean, to me, I think the defense has been something that they're really trying to focus on right now. To get back up there, because think about it, they just signed 4 free agents. I mean, they're older guys. They've had lots of experience in the minor leagues, and 3 of them are defensemen. So they've got a lot of choices to make from down there. I don't know what you got to. When you have that thought process going, you have to be better on an even strength thing right now. That's where we really got hurt.
Right. Yeah.
5-on-5 or 4-on-4, whatever. Even strength, we were not very good, and we had a lot of players. A lot of players were minus players. As good as an offensive team we had, and good as what we did. Which meant that a lot of our success was permeated from the power play. Right. So I don't know. I mean, Julian had to make some tough decisions. Think about it. We've become a team, and the fan base and everybody that's associated with it. They have high expectations for this club because they set the bar for themselves. Yeah. 2 Stanley Cups, 2 or 3 Stanley Cup finals. It's not one of these old expansion teams that everybody in the North thinks we are.
Yeah, we've been around a little while.
Just a hair.
We're a good hockey market. It's just it.
You're darn right we are. We're the best hockey market going as far as fan base, fan support.
That's right.
But take a look. I've always told this, and you and I've talked this. There's only one team that has won as many Stanley Cups as we have since we've come in the league in our 32 years, and that's Detroit.
That's pretty good.
So think about it.
That's pretty good.
I mean, so no kidding. And so you think of all these morons in Toronto, that think that they've got the greatest team in the world. They haven't had a cup since what, 1901? I don't know.
67.
I know.
You weren't wearing a mask the last time they had a cup. Let's just put it that way, Chief.
Oh, yeah, that's for darn sure. But,
that's the truth.
We have a really good program here. And I think with Julian looking at that, I'm kind of defensive of him, but I understand what he's had to do because we had to get better 5-on-5. And this Gensel kid is a good player, boys. Let me tell you. And he's a very strong defensive player.
Right.
I mean, I think he was I think he was
a plus 24 last year, and Stamkos was a minus 21. And plus minus doesn't tell the whole story. You taught me that, but it's a very important statistic. And I think to boil it down to fans, that's about where it is. He's 6 years younger, 5-6 years younger. He's better defensively. He still can score. You're younger, you're faster, you're more responsible defensively. If you're looking at these 2 players, is that pretty much what it comes down to?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But you know what? For me, take a look. This is the way it is now. I mean, when Phil and I were playing, you wanted to stay with one organization,
right, and
finish your career in that organization. And then that was really a hue and cry. That's what you wanted to do. And so the people like Stammer's been one of the greatest players ever in my mind. Not just because he's so good on the ice, but his whole persona, his way he handled himself, the way he represented our team and our city, the way he, was such a force in that dressing room to get guys to play. Everything, all those little intangibles that we never get to see, or the average fan never gets to see. the type of person he was. You know, I just relate back to, I told you that one story a long time when he first came here and signed. And, you know, I was talking with his mom and his dad come walking in through the back, how we come into the building there, JP. And they're madder than a hatter. Saying, and I'm going, what's wrong, Chris? What's wrong? Leslie, you guys are really upset. He says, Chief, you've been in this league a long time, and you've played. He says, what would you think if some smart-ass rookie came in here and with his signing bonus and bought a big brand-new Mercedes? He should have brought a Chevy. And I did exactly what you said. I burst out laughing. But that's the thing, that's how he was raised with Chris and Leslie Stamkos. And that's how he had it. He was such a humble superstar that had no qualms. You know, he didn't have any airs about him. And that's the hardest part for me. The hardest part is the personal side, the human side type of thing. For me to see him go, you know what? I texted Billy Wickett, who was here and now was as a big Mahoff with the Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
And I said, well, Billy, is he going to get number 191 there? And you know, I said, we're really going to miss him. He says, you know what? And they did a hell of a job in this draft. Really or free agency anyway. They were going to be a major team this year. But he said, you know what? I'm really sad to see him go. I'm really sad. He says, but I'm happier in hell that we got him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
and I think Bill Wickett and Sean Henry, their front office people, were a huge part of landing him. And I think he really felt at home in Nashville because of those two guys. But again, it doesn't come to that if, and this is where I think the fans are really pissed off. I think they feel like the Lightning, you know, we know Stamkos would have taken less money than he got in Nashville. And 4 years, $8 million is, you know, in my opinion, with all due respect to Steven Stamkos, that's too much to pay a player of his age. And where his skills are, you know, he's not as good a 5-on-5 player as he was. That's just father time. It's not an insult, but congratulations. They gave you the money. You don't say no, right? But if the Lightning would have given him that contract, I think we all would have said, wow, that's a lot. It's a lot to pay a guy at this age, et cetera, et cetera. How are you going to fill out the roster, et cetera, et cetera? But he would have taken a little bit of a discount. So I think for the fans, it's a disconnect of why the franchise maybe didn't value him as much as they value Hedman, who got 4 years, 32 today, Hagel, Point, Sergachev, go right down the line. Everybody's been paid except Steven Stamkos.
That's true. And that's the hard thing about it, because especially, you know, because of the character of the guy, that's right. The whole point. You know, you talk about, I remember, you know, talking to some of the new guys that came in here, you know, and Nick Paul especially. I asked him, you know, how he says he says I couldn't believe the reception I got when I got traded here from Ottawa. He says everybody called me, their wives called my girlfriend or my fiance to make sure that they're okay if they need anything like that. He says they make you feel so welcomed here within the first 10 minutes you get here, that you're just pumped to be able to play here, and the culture that they have set here. And it all stems from number 91. That's the guy that said it. Ryan McDonough was a huge part of that too. Ryan McDonough was a huge part of that too. He came back, but it just, you know what? It's like you're losing a really good friend. Yeah. You know, it is. You know, I mean, people that you don't know them personally. You know, I was fortunate. You and I have been fortunate enough because we've had an interaction with him, and I've had him since he was 18 years old. And so it's a hard pill to swallow, but I can understand what Julian's trying to do. He says this is a team. We are an elite team, contrary to what people up north think we are. But we've I'm really bad melting that up there. I can't believe it. Oh, they drive me nuts. We're the by the way team, you know. You know. By the way, the Lightning just won another cup.
Those aren't real cups, by the way, because we cheated with Kucherov and ones during COVID, so they're not real cups. That's the other. I love that stupidity.
Yeah. Like everybody else had the
same. It was
same
easy during COVID to win a cup. It was really easy. Like
Not for the Stars.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, how come Toronto didn't then?
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Chief, in the
But,
end,
you know,
it's a tough pill to swallow. But is this team better now?
Well, I don't know. You know what I think looking forward? I mean, you got this geeky kid is a good player. You know, he's a young kid. He's 6'4", 194 pounds. You know. Then they just signed that Jurgensen, which was a shock to me. But you're looking down. In my mind, I know that they're real concentrating on the defense, and I think you're going to see. Well, Lillibird just signed again, and I think Crozier's going to be. I think those two there. So you got McDonough and Chernak will be reunited. Chernak had his best years when he was playing alongside McDonough. I think this J.J. Moser might be the guy that'll play on the right side with Hector. But we need a number 2 center. That's where I can't understand. We got. I know they're trying to use Cirelli. Cirelli is one of the most. It would be the best number 3 centerman in the league by far. His defensive game is so strong, penalty kill and everything, and they're trying to really kind of force feed him into being an offensive player. And I think what happens there. He's a strong 15 goal scorer a year, 15 to 18. He got 20 last year. I understand that, but his defense suffered a little bit because of that. Because you're putting pressure on him to become that. Your top 6 are the ones that are supposed to produce the offense.
Right.
Well, Anthony is such a good penalty killer, shut down defenseman or centerman. But if you keep thinking, and in his mind, he thinks, "Oh God, I got to score. I'm the second line center. I got to score." Well, sometimes that hurts your game, which you're the most strong and noted for. And I would love to see us try and get. And maybe this geeky kid could be that. But he's only 20. He hasn't really played anything in the NHL. So, and he's. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's going to be at the rookie camp this week too.
Yeah, he will. He should be. Yeah.
Geeky. So
that's why I think we got to give JBB the benefit of the doubt at this point. As much as it hurts, as much as it sucks, he deserves the benefit of the doubt because he's brought us 2 cups and made the necessary changes to make that happen. So let's see how it plays out, and hopefully time will heal this wound. But it's a tough one.
Yeah, it will be. And when the schedule comes out tonight, I think, doesn't it?
I think you're right.
Yeah, it comes out tonight, so you can bet your bottom dollar that if Nashville comes to town next year, that thing will be circled, and it'll be a very emotional night.
Well, there's already a preseason home and home with Nashville in the preseason, right?
That's right. September. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that, Tim. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. So that maybe we don't know who will be playing in the preseason, but
he may not make the trip. They might save if there's a regular season game, which I think there will be. They probably save it for that, but we'll see. Chief, thanks, man. Yeah. Always appreciate you, my brother. We'll get out and play golf here soon.
For sure. Yeah, this week. Yeah, I'll be at that rookie camp. So after this week, I'm footloose and fancy free to hit that golf circuit.
Let's go. Let's go.
That's
man. All right, there, Bobby the Chief Taylor. Thanks, partner. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Yeah, it's you can just hear it in Chief's voice there. It's when you're that. We're human beings, man, and especially Chief he's known Stamper since he was 18 years old. He's like a son to him. Yeah. So these things hit hard. They hit hard.
It's an emotional time for when something like this happens, for sure. That's part of the greatness of sports, right? I mean, that's part of why we love sports.
Right. That's right. What else do we get this emotional about? Certainly not our children.
No. I have kids.
Let's welcome in our good friend Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report. What's up, Scotty? How are you? Big Lightning fan himself. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Still reeling a little bit from the Stamkos departure. That does sting. Buoyed by the fact that Hedman, my favorite player, is back.
Yes.
So
there you go.
But I've seen this too with the Buccaneers. It just there comes a time where you want it to end the right way on the players' terms and the team's terms. It rarely happens, right? Mike Allstott went out with an injury, right? And so the Buccaneers were kind of rescued from having to eventually cut Mike Allstott. Rondé Barber decided he was still playing at a very high level.
Yeah.
But he decided to retire on his terms as a Buccaneer. But we've seen it with John Lynch. We've seen it with Derek Brooks. Some painful cuts. Warren Sapp was another one, not re-signing Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp was never cut, but the team essentially decided to put money in Booger McFarland as opposed to Warren Sapp.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens, and I've seen it happen in my job with this franchise. Jason Light could have been feeling the exact same wrath as JBB if he didn't re-sign Mike Evans.
Yeah,
and I think Levante David, fortunately, will be able to end his career on his terms, much like Rondé Barber. It seems to be going that way. We'll see what the future holds this year, but it's rare that you get to ride off in the sunset and call it a day on your terms. And maybe that happens to Hedman. It didn't happen to Stamkos, unfortunately.
Mike Evans' situation, I thought, was the most analogous to Stammer's situation. I mean, really close.
Yeah.
Didn't get the contract extension the year out.
Right.
Both situations. And I thought that for the Lightning, it was, we need to evaluate you, Steven Stamkos, another year. Yeah. I think the Bucks were like, we want to make sure that Mike can still play at that level. Both teams, I think, needed to see where the salary cap was going and see where everybody else was around them. Are they going to need to pay a quarterback?
Yeah.
How much are they going to have to pay a quarterback? How much are they going to have to pay Hedman? How much are they going to have to pay everybody? So I think more information was needed from both situations. So it justified not giving the extension. So but the difference to me was, I think the Buccaneers made Mike Evans feel like he was really wanted. And even though it was like, we can't give you all of that, what you need, but we love you and we want you back, and we got to have you.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it was different. I think the Lightning felt like, that maybe Stevens, he was declining. You can make that argument.
Sure.
Minus 21 defensively, wasn't the guy, power play, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the difference was.
Yeah, I think you're right. And also too, and again, I am not a Lightning reporter. I'm a fan, so I don't have any insight or any inside information or anything like that. I'm just a casual observer in this particular role with my Lightning hat on. But we heard from Jason Light and Mike Evans that from training camp, it was, Mike, we love you. We're just going to play this out. We want you back, right? That was communicated to Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with Stamkos, at least from what I saw in some interviews this time last year, throughout the season, it was Stammer was a bit in the dark, right? He didn't know what the future held. And I think
they never came to him with an
exactly.
extension,
And I think that's an important distinction too,
I agree.
And you're exactly right. They had to see where Evans was going to shake out in terms of his numbers, the numbers contractually that Evans wanted, where that fit in the Bucs salary cap, what the salary cap situation was going to look like, what other free agents were, Jason Light didn't know if he needed another quarterback in 2024 or not, right? Or if Baker was going to be the guy.
Right, exactly.
Baker was going to be the guy.
Exactly.
To what level, to what financial level was Baker going to be the guy? Exactly. But at the same time, that message was consistent. Mike, I love you. You're my first ever draft pick. We want you back.
The Lightning did say publicly how much they wanted Stamkos, but
was that communicated to Stamkos? In other words, did he feel it? I don't know, based on those comments from Stamkos himself, that he actually felt it.
Certainly not at the end. Certainly not
exactly.
Yeah.
Mike Evans knew from training camp last year that he was loved. They wanted him back. They just had to be patient and see where everything shook out.
Yeah. Great points. And I wanted you to draw those distinctions because I think fans definitely looked at the two very similarly, as they should, but two vastly different outcomes. So
well, and you know what? And we'll see how this franchise moves forward, right? Because Mark Dominic was the one who cut Derek Brooks, for example. Bruce Allen was the one who didn't re-sign Warren Sapp, ended up cutting John Lynch, et cetera. They didn't last long. Right.
Yeah. And those moves were the wrong moves. John Lynch had 4 more Pro Bowls.
Correct.
Sapp, I don't know. I mean, he had 10 sacks the next year, or 10 and a half sacks, I think, the next year with Oakland.
2 years after that. His sack numbers dipped a little bit first year, and then he did have a 10-year sack or 10 sack season the next year. but yeah, he was in his 30s and wasn't the same player.
That one I think, and I think Oakland probably overpaid.
Yeah, for sure.
But so maybe that worked out. Maybe it didn't. I think the Lynch was
Derek Brooks.
disaster.
I love Derek Brooks. He was done.
Yeah,
he just was right. And the league told him that, right? He was not going to get paid anyway. He's not. This is not like Levante David right now. Yeah. Like Levante. Now at the same time, Derek was also, I think, a little bit older, 36. Levante's 34. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a point in time. Hopefully, it's not next year, but there will be a point in time where the wheels fall off Levante David too. It just happens. Father Time is undefeated in every major sport. It just happens at some point in time. But the thing is unless you can find replacements for legends and do it quickly, it's going to cost you your job. I mean, look no further than Jason Light last year with a bit of a Hail Mary, to use the quarterback analogy, finding Baker Mayfield to replace Tom Brady. It's the numbers weren't the same. 4,000 yards compared to 5,000 and 28 touchdowns when
more
Brady
points.
had more points. So exactly. More points. Yeah. And more wins.
More wins, more points.
But that's the kind of bridge that you need. Those
get that done for the Lightning. We shall see.
We shall see. Exactly. But it's important to note that as time goes on from the Stamkos departure, are the Lightning either staying put as a playoff team or are they ascending? Because if they're starting to decline, we know how this ends for general managers.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And JBB knows it. He does not play it in the safe zone. He is a balls out. Let's go for it. And this is about as much as you're exposing your cojones as much as you can.
And Jason Light, it had a little bit of this type of situation too with Gerald McCoy, letting him go, a 6-time Pro Bowler, community guy, fan favorite, right? He was the face of the franchise when the Bucs sucked for years. Mm-hmm. He was the best player on the team, but made a controversial move to let him go and bring in Ndamukong Suh, and it ended up working great. Suh was a catalyst to help the Bucs run defense get back.
Anybody
to where
talking about getting rid of Gerald McCoy?
Yeah,
it's historically no,
not at all.
Because you won a Super Bowl. Okay. Yeah. So just win, baby. That's the name
right.
of it. All right. So this next chapter begins. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This next chapter begins with the Buccaneers at a training camp that I'm very much looking forward to, because I think there are, as opposed to last year, there weren't a whole lot of battles. Like we knew
Baker and Kyle. That was it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It wasn't really a competition.
But in terms of, it was more quality in terms of quantity, right? All eyes were on the quarterback position, et cetera. This year, I think it's spread out around. I'm going to take the cheese. I'm going to go where you want me to go, which is
please do.
Battles are there. I think the best battle, honestly, the best duel, the head-to-head is at wide receiver 3 between Trey Palmer and Jalen McMillan.
Yeah.
Is it the most important? No, probably most important. I would classify that as left guard between Sua Opeta and Ben Bredesen, right? So that's the most important. Now, the hottest training camp position battle is, and I just did a Pewter Pulse video on this that's going to debut on our Pewter Report TV channel. I'm going to give you a little bit of a scoop here.
All right.
It's outside linebacker. This is the WWE free-for-all battle royale. Put them all in the ring. Let them sort it out, right? Because you got Yaya Diaby, who's likely going to be one starter if he continues to show what he showed at the end of last year in the camp and in the preseason. But then who's going to replace Shaq Barrett? Well, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Chris Braswell, those are probably the two names on deck there. But you have Anthony Nelson. He, like JTS, both in contract years.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be clawing and scratching and itching for as much playing time as they can get to get that next contract in Tampa Bay or elsewhere. Braswell comes with a second-round draft billing. The Bucs want to get him on the field. He's got heavy hands, physical presence, right? So there's what I would consider the top 4. Then you got Marquise Watts and Jose Ramirez on that third line right now. We're talking kind of hockey shifts here, but they're the third string guys right now. Watts, I think, has the talent to be anywhere from outside linebacker 5 to outside linebacker 2.
Wow,
kind of reminds me a little bit of a maybe a slightly less powerful James Harrison, but similarly built, 6'1", 250. Who else was built like that? Shaq Barrett.
Shaq Barrett, yeah.
Quick. He's the quickest, fastest guy off the line of scrimmage. He is bendy. He can dip and rip. He can get under the tackles the way Shaq did in his prime. And so he is a guy that I think if he's up to 250 now, so he's added some size. If he can set the edge and be competent on run downs, early downs, then he'll be more than the designated pass rusher that he was at the end of last year. That's the key for him. Not just what you do on third downs. You got to get to the quarterback, but
he was wrecking people in practice. We heard from Todd Bowles.
Yeah,
which was always strange to me.
And second down,
like, well, then why don't we see him in the game?
Yeah, exactly right. So he's a bit of a wild card, and then you got Jose Ramirez, who was a little pudgy, a little heavy last year. He is lean and mean. He's resculpted his body, and the team likes him as well. So he is outside linebacker number 6.
You didn't mention Tim's favorite player.
Randy Gregory.
Yeah.
Well, he's number 7 because he is the true wild card. Is he going to show up?
Yes.
So
he will not even show up, I promise you.
You should write a column, Bucks or the Bong. You pick.
My whole thing is I really don't think they need Randy Gregory, right? If this guy came with double-digit sack credentials, even in his past, even in his prime, if he had a 10 or 12 sack season, like Jason Pierre-Paul did coming from the Giants, then I would say, okay, maybe that he gets resuscitated. Maybe, he has that kind of like last hurrah year, like JPP had a couple of those seasons in Tampa, helping the Bucs win a Super Bowl, making a Pro Bowl in his 30s. I don't see that. This is a guy that's topped out at 6 sacks, right? Yeah. So, I can see the Bucs saying no harm, no foul. He's under contract. If he shows up, we'll throw him in the mix of competition. Maybe he's an injury, insurance policy. But my whole thing is I believe in this young talent, this untapped. We haven't seen Jose Ramirez play a down in the NFL. Same with Chris Braswell. We've seen flashes, like little itty bitty flashes from Marquise Watts. I'm curious to see if JTS, if the light finally comes on in the pressure of that contract year, if he does something. So if you're giving Randy Gregory reps in practice or in, say, preseason games, you're just taking away
from these young kids,
legit younger guys who actually might have a future rather than some 32-year-old gun for hire guy. So I don't think they need him, but that's 7. That's 7 legitimate guys in the mix for 5 roster spots. Yeah. Then you throw in Daniel Grisiak and Sean Peterson. Those are some camp bodies, but Marquise Watts was a camp body last year.
Right.
He was an undrafted free agent, so you never know. But to me, wide receiver 3. Whoever loses that job and is wide receiver 4, you're getting a starting caliber player anyways.
We'll be in the mix.
He'll be in the mix. You got 4 wide receivers you feel really good about. So Mike needs a breather. You stick whoever number 4 is, whether it's Palmer or McMillan, you stick him in. Same with Godwin. Same with whoever wins wide receiver number 3. The left guard situation, we'll see. It's not the headliner. It's important. It's the most important position. But it's not like that draw that I think those other spots are. Outside linebacker, wide receiver 3, left guard. Those are the spots to really keep an eye on in camp.
One of the things that intrigues me, and I read your column on the new kick return, and I'm fascinated by it because there's strategy going into this. And I actually, like an idiot, went back and looked at some of the XFL and some of these others that have done this. And it's a weird look, first of all. It's going to be so bizarre.
It's so much fun, though. It's so much fun. I covered the XFL back in 2020 when they had this, and I wish they'd have brought it back in the new UFL when they merged with the USFL, but they didn't. Dude, it makes the kickoff more exciting. Like, you want to be there. You don't get up to go get food and drinks during the kickoff. You want to watch it because
something's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it gives the kick a coverage team opportunities as well. So it's a different look, and it's going to fascinate people.
Well, and also too, I think, and you kind of saw this before they started messing with the whole, kickoff line. Essentially, would teams kick it off to the other team, or would they try to kick it through the end zone? Right, and before the touchback became an eventual play, right? We were so used to seeing the dead wasted play, the touchback, and then go to commercial and then come back for football. But now I think it's really going to be situational, right? If you have a lead, do you want to just be safe and kick it through the end zone and have the team start in the 30, right? And do you do that at the end of the game where all of a sudden, if it's tied up or if a team needs a field goal to tie, do you want to give them that extra yardage? It's going to be
strategy.
Huge. It's going to be strategy. I don't know.
It's going to be determined by your personnel and how good you are at it, which is great.
It's going to be determined by weather. It's going to be determined by what happened the last kick, like whether it was the kickoff or the second half kickoff or the last time you scored and you had to kick the ball, right? What was the outcome? Holy smokes, did they scare you with a 50-yard return? And all of a sudden they're starting at your 40-yard line, and then you're like, whoa, we'll take the ball at 30. Todd Bowles, in his nature, is conservative, right? He is not no risk it, no biscuit. He is more conservative. He is also the defensive play caller. He's going to trust his defense. I think unless the Buccaneers just find 10 special teams demons to put out there with Jake Camarda, and they get really good early at pinning teams back at the 20-yard line or maybe even a little bit in or the 25, I could just see Bowles say after the preseason, screw it, we're kicking off, we're defending the 70 yards, just because that's his nature, conservative, and he trusts his defense. Whereas offensive-minded play calling coaches, right, they might not be as trusting of the defense because they don't control it. So I could see more defensive-minded head coaches say, screw it, we're doing the touchback, where offensive-minded coaches might say, let's go kick and cover.
Yeah, and I and that return guy, everybody's got their feeling. To me, this feels like a Bucky Irving.
It does, yeah.
Thing. It really. Watching his tape and just the way he runs and his quick explosion, because I think that's what it is. It's going to be vision.
Yeah,
get through the hole and break a tackle. Break an arm tackle. That's him.
He can do that.
Yeah, I think he and Trey Palmer are going to be the two guys, and the reason I say Trey Palmer too is because you're going to want a guy because the line of scrimmage is going to be at about the 35-yard line on the kick return side, right?
Right.
So you're going to be, as a returner, going to that line and through that line way faster than you would be normally, where
taking a handoff for a pitch. Yeah,
exactly. And so to me, there's more wide open field. And I think if you can get past that line, you better have the Jets to take it all the way, right? Because if you
the first thing you got to have are those onions to get to speed when you hit that line of scrimmage. Because this is not who was our boy back in the day.
Jalen Darden.
Jalen Darden, Dexter Jackson. Remember him?
Yeah, slip and slide. Yeah.
I mean, neither one of them had the cojones to hit that thing at full speed, which is what you got to do. Is Trey Palmer that guy?
Yeah.
Is he nuts enough to do that? Because I couldn't do it.
I think he's kind of a tough nut. I think he is. I think he's got some dog in him. He and Bucky Irving are the two top guys. And when we say Dexter Jackson, I'm not besmirching the Super Bowl MVP Dexter Jackson from Florida State. No, this was the Appalachian State second-round pick who was a bust. I called him slip and slide because the minute he caught the ball on a punt, he literally would go down to avoid any type of contact. With Jalen Darden, he was a little tougher. What Jalen Darden's strategy was where's the sideline?
Where's the sideline?
Make a beeline to the sideline, and how fast could I get there? Yeah.
Unbelievable. Scott Relis joining us here. There's been a lot of talk. The pundits are all crapping on the Buccaneers. They were. It's funny because I think I've seen a little bit of a shift. There's a shift in Vegas.
Yeah.
Sports books went from 6.5 to 7.5 with the Buccaneers. That's a monumental jump.
It is. Yeah.
I think as people start really digging into the rosters, they're starting to go, you know what? This Buccaneers team is not, I look at the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Do you sense that a little bit? I do.
Yeah, and I think, and listen, I'm friends with Raheem Morris. I like Raheem Morris a lot. Okay. I'm friends with Jimmy Lake, the defensive coordinator. He was a two-time defensive backs coach here in Tampa. One when he was under Raheem Morris, and then when Raheem was the head coach, he was the defensive backs coach here. He went to Washington, recruited like all of their Husky defensive backs that are now in the NFL. He's a really good defensive-minded coach. Zach Robinson comes from LA, which this should be interesting because you're going to have the exact same offense in Tampa and Atlanta with Liam Cohen and Zach Robinson coming to the NFC South. But having said that, Jimmy Lake's never called plays at the NFL level. Is Raheem Morris going to do that and juggle head coaching responsibility? How is Zach Robinson going to transition? He's never been a play caller before, at least with Liam Cohen. He has 2 years of play calling experience at Kentucky. Plus, he called a handful of games at the end of the 2022 season when Sean McVay was like, I need a breather. So I just I'm doubting the Falcons coaching
There's
staff
a
a
lot
little
of
bit.
unproven. It's a lot of unproven things. I think they're
Yes.
talented coaches, and we love
Yes.
them. And I think in time they'll be really good.
Yes.
But to throw all this on them in year one,
exactly.
that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
you're right. It is, and so that gives me a little bit of pause this year. Now, I think the Falcons are going to be more formidable next year than they are this year. Just like when Brady came to Tampa Bay, I went on record saying they're going to be better in 2021. I don't think they're making the playoffs, or I should say, I don't think they're making the Super Bowl in 2020. I was wrong. I thought they'd be a playoff team and a real Super Bowl contender in 2021. Turns out I was kind of right. They overachieved. They went to the Super Bowl. They caught fire at the end of the season, stayed healthy, beat COVID, and they won the Super Bowl that year. But they had the better record. They actually won the division. The Saints won the division in 2020. The Bucs won 13 games, franchise best. And if you give me either Antonio Brown or Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs, one of those receivers and Wirfs, they beat the Rams and they win the Super Bowl in 2021.
I agree.
And I think the same thing with the Falcons. I think they're going to be better than 7-10 this year. They'll contend for the division with Tampa Bay. But the year to watch out for with the Falcons, I think, is the next year. In my opinion.
I agree.
Do you base that, Scott, on quarterback? Because you think Penix will take over a year from now, or do you think it's because Cousins will be another year into his tenure there and he'll be leading the team? What do you base that on?
I think it's going to be Cousins next year as well, unless he gets hurt this year. He's not, unless there's an injury or that Achilles acts up again or something. He's a damn good quarterback. Yeah. He's going to play at a high level for the next couple of years, and I think Penix will maybe be good in time. We'll see. But just to me, it's learning the whole personnel. Getting acclimated, you kind of saw, even though the Buccaneers start off 3-1, the Bucs offense was not hitting on all cylinders at the start of the season, like they were, beating the Packers at the end of the year before Baker Mayfield got hurt, right? Because that Panthers game was not a true reflection. Baker was out there on a bad wheel and with bad ribs, but then you saw the next week they just dismantled the Philadelphia Eagles, putting up 30 out of the 32 points the team scored that day. And then going toe-to-toe with the Lions as well into the fourth quarter. So it's going to be, I think, a slower start for the Falcons. And you know what? I was discouraged as an NFL observer / fan of the fact that the Bucs play the Falcons twice in the first 8 games of the year. And I thought, God, what a waste, because, why are the Bucs playing the Panthers the second to the last game of the season? The Panthers will be out of it by then. Wouldn't the NFL want that head-to-head matchup later in the season to really decide the NFC South? They're giving both teams an early shot at each other early in the season. But I think for the Buccaneers, it works out to their advantage. They're catching the Falcons before they get their act together, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah.
And they might have an early lead on the NFC South that maybe they don't relinquish.
Yeah. I think that's a good strategy. And that
was the whole purpose of the NFL changing the schedule a few years ago, to make you play division opponents at the end of the season. But it's got to be the right division opponents, I guess, for it to line up the right way.
The Panthers will totally quit by then. So it's absolutely.
They may have a new quarterback by then. You never know.
They may. There's a lot of stuff that they've got to overcome. So.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, it's what it is. All right, Scotty, tell us what you got coming up. Big plans for training camp, I'm sure. What's going on at Pewter Report?
We got our Pewter Report podcast today. And listen, it's the summer, but we still have a lot to talk about with the Buccaneers. So you can catch our podcasts live Monday through Thursday, this Thursday being the exception. We're not going to do one on 4th of July, but typically Monday through Thursday, live at 4 o'clock. If you miss our podcast live, you can catch the archive version on Pewter Report TV. It's where we host all of our podcasts, as well as my Pewter Pulse videos, other great Bucs video content. Make sure you subscribe to that. We'd love for you to subscribe. We're almost at 15,000.
Nice.
And you can also follow all of the Bucs news and analysis on pewterreport.com, the mothership, and on social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report.
All right, partner. Great stuff as always. Forgot to tell you, your hair looks fabulous, but you know that already. All right. Much better than Tim's. All right. Have a great one. Thanks, man.
You too, guys. Take care.
It's Scott Reynolds right there. All right, we will take a quick break. Come back on the other side. I want to get to all the comments here. You guys lit it up early on, and we've had guests, obviously. So I want to get to the comments when we come back. I'm going to have I got a rant saved up for the United States men's national team. God, they were awful last night. Just awful. This whole thing has just really gotten under my skin. So we'll get to that. And we might even talk about Jake Gensel. Who? The
Omaha, Nebraska native?
How about that? I didn't realize they play hockey.
How about all those hockey legends that come out of Omaha, Nebraska?
We will talk about all of it when we return. Big thanks to our friends at Hydrate Heroes. Try hydrateheroes.com. We'll get you to the website, give you 3 free packets. Go ahead and order the 30-pack for $29.99. It's well worth it. Less than $1 a serving for 5 calories. Great hydration, way less than those other sugary drinks. Better for you, less money, which is good in these inflationary times. Try hydrateheroes.com. Back in 3. Stay with us.
You're listening to The Strike. 102.5 WHPT HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
JP here for hydrateheroes.com, the great electrolyte hydration drink that has all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. NFL players are using this stuff. All types of athletes are using it because it's got 5 calories. None of the bad stuff, all the good stuff. All the electrolytes are in there for you. And also amla fruit, which is a terrific additive in there. The mushroom blend helps with inflammation in your body. Definitely has helped me with my knees. My knee pain has gone away almost exclusively since I started drinking Hydrate Heroes. Folks, it makes a difference. I love it. Professional athletes love it. You will love it. The new Tropical Punch flavor is out. Go to tryhydrateheroes.com and get a free 3-pack. That's tryhydrateheroes.com, a free 3-pack, and get the 30-pack while you're there for just $29.99. Tryhydrateheroes.com. You'll love it.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is 2-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
Summer is here, and it's the perfect time to shine with the exquisite June birthstones, Pearl, Alexandrite, and Moonstone at the Golden Diamond Source. Each gemstone carries its own unique significance and style, making them perfect for any summer occasion. Did you know the 30th anniversary milestone is Pearl, the traditional stone for this special occasion? And right now, you can enjoy 5 years of interest-free financing. That means you can own a stunning $5,000 ring and pay only $83 a month with 0 interest for 5 years. That's a great deal. And shop online and get 15% off the June birthstones. And we love our partners, local businesses that have been here for 40 years. That's right, the Golden Diamond Source has been here for 40 years. Julie and Steve Weintraub have done so much in our community. We thank them, and we shop there. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Happy summer. As we head into summer and hurricane season, you must make sure that your home is fully insured. Over 40% of people in Florida are not fully insured because property rates have gone up lately. Your home is worth more, so it needs to be insured. Call the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799 to make sure you're fully insured. And also, you might just save some money. There are new companies coming into the state all the time. In fact, we just shopped our homeowners insurance, and I'm telling you, folks, we saved over $550 because Charity, the great customer service at Italiano Insurance, did all the work and found us a better company and a cheaper company. She'll do the same for you. 813-877-7799. Do something about these high rates. Shop them around. Could save you lots of money. It's Italiano Insurance, been doing business here locally for over 60 years. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as Stammergeddon 3.0 continues. Hey, but Victor Hedman has been re-signed, but we knew that was happening. $8 million per year for 4 years. Found the money for him. But he makes them a better defensive club, better 5-on-5, all that good stuff, which we talked about. Our thanks, by the way, to the Jeeves Law Group, Italiano Insurance, Gold and Diamond Source Italiano Insurance just saved us $500 on our homeowners, folks. So, yeah, if your bills are going up, I get it, but there's ways to get them down. Have Italiano shop them around. New companies are coming in, offering lower rates, so let them find you a lower rate, right? 813-877-7799. So if you're so pissed off at your homeowner's insurance, have them shop it around. May not find you a better one, but they might. They did it for us. So let them do it. All right, want to get to some of these comments. Kenneth McClary, first time I've seen you in here. Thanks so much for joining us, adding new folks each and every day. I don't know if this first comment came through, but I know how much the free agent that we did sign in place of Stamkos. They paid him more. They paid him more than Stamkos was making. He's also 5 years younger and is a much better two-way player defensively, and that's what it basically came down to. And Jake Gensel's a hell of a player, and he's, I think, going to fit in very well with either the top line or the number 2 line, either way you put him. Again, he was a plus 24. Stamkos was a minus 21. And I know that's not the end-all, be-all, but when you look at all the analytics, Gensel is a better player and addresses what the Lightning need more, which is to be more responsible defensively.
Yeah.
So, Bobby Bonilla deal for Stamkos, says Jude Jetson. That was offered, essentially. The 8 years, $3 million was offered. So, in the end, this was Stamkos' decision. He could have stayed for a hell of a lot less per year. But in the long run, it would have been, $8 million less. So, that's on Steven Stamkos.
I wonder if we will ever hear the truth, or if this will just die.
Well, it's like, I don't think anybody wants to come out on the Lightning side and say Steven Stamkos has become a liability defensively. Yeah. They don't want to say that. They don't want to besmirch his name.
Yeah.
I mean, we as analysts and being objective are supposed to look at this and say, this is what the deal is. And I get it. But there's so many sides to this. He would have taken a discount. There's no question about that. He said it. We know it. What was that number? But in the end, Stamkos didn't feel like he was wanted. That's what the deal is. To me, it wasn't about money, and it wasn't about. It was certainly about hockey to the Lightning, but again, Steven Stamkos, less ice time. Is there a way to keep him, to diminish his role? Is that something he would have expected or wanted? We don't know. And I think the Lightning were like, from a hockey standpoint, this is what's best for the team. Mm-hmm. We'll find out if his lack of leadership and having him not in the locker room, the dressing room, if that makes a huge deal. It might very much so. Very much so. This team could fracture. There's a lot of interesting personalities in that room now without Steven Stamkos. So
who takes over the C on the sweater?
It's got to be Hedman.
You would think, right?
Hedman or McDonough. Or
do they go without a C for a season and everybody's just got the A? I mean, that's happened before.
Could be Braden Point. 50-goal scorer. He doesn't necessarily have that gravitas that Stamkos have. Few players do. Let's just be honest.
And it's not always the best player, obviously, that holds the C. This captain holds many responsibilities in hockey, and it's not usually,
the best
restricted to your best player. Mike Modano was never a captain in Dallas. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, never a captain. He was always an alternate. He was never a captain. And, there's a reason for that. It's a personality thing too, right? He wasn't necessarily the guy that was going to go fight for his teammates, either with the refs or the other team. So it's a big decision.
RJ Martin says, absolutely disgusted with the way JBB handled the Stammer situation going back to last season. Stamkos deserved to be treated better whether he was signed back or not, he was disrespected. With all due respect, RJ, I see your point, but I wasn't in those face-to-face meetings. I wasn't there. But from the outside looking in, it does appear that way. And I don't know if disrespected is the right word. I think maybe not as loved. Is that, not as cherished as maybe we thought he should be. But this is business, man. It's business. Rick says Julian Big Balls better work out, or this may be his legacy. Hell yeah, he knows that. And the problem is for JBB, anything short of a Stanley Cup is because the bar's already been set, right? Yeah. Number 1, 2, you got rid of him. How many did you win? And that's a tough nut. Only one team wins at the end of the year. And now if they make 2 really good runs and they get to a final or a conference final or a final, I think he will be vindicated if you're being fair. But if they go out the first round the next couple of years or don't make the playoffs, and Nashville's going to be good. Don't get it twisted. They're going to be good. They're going to be real good.
God, I hate Nashville.
He could have offered 4 years to $24 million to see what happens, but he didn't. He made a pathetic, I think he said 2 year, 4 year, 8 years, $24 million. I think people look at that pathetic, but I'm like,
it's not bad.
Still $24 million,
That's almost what JP pays me to do twice a week here. So
this James Ludeman says this will be the biggest blunder of a player leaving Tampa Bay sports history. Worse than Longo, worse than Lynch. They will regret this move. Well, I don't think the Rays ever regretted it because they saved money and that's all they really care about. But I know that the Bucks regret getting rid of John Lynch. That was a mistake. That was a huge mistake. And they know it. JB lost all respect for Jeff Vinnick. What a phony.
We don't know that he had anything to do with this, do we?
I don't. His MO is I don't get involved, and I think and I like owners like that. But then again, I mentioned the Robert Kraft thing last week, yesterday. So Belichick wanted Brady out in 2018 was it or 17? When it was. Anyway, Kraft said no, and they won 2 more Super Bowls. So he was right. Do I think Coop supported this? I don't think that. I don't know. I don't think he had. I think he made his case, like from a coaching standpoint, and said, "It's in your hands, Julian. I'm not getting involved in this. I'm the coach." I think that's probably where he was at. Did he go to the mat for Stammer? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
James says the writing was on the wall and when he didn't get a deal done before last season. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I think more information was needed. And I think they got some information that confirmed that they weren't going to spend the money, and that's the -21 and the 5-on-5 play of the team. I think that's the information. So I think everybody that says, "Oh, you're shocked that it happened," you should have seen it last year. Then you're saying the same thing about Mike Evans. No, I think there was plenty. I think you needed to get more information. I don't think last year not doing the contract was the death knell right at that point. No, I think that's silly. You're not paying attention if that's the way you think. There was a lot more information that needed to be see where Stammer's going. How did he play? Mike Evans played at an elite level. You can argue Steven Stamkos scored at an elite level, but as a team, did they play better 5-on-5? Was it? And that's certainly not all Stamkos' fault, by the way.
Right.
by no means. There's a lot of people that contributed to that 23rd ranked or 24th ranked defensive number. So we get 36-year-old McDonough. You sign an older Hedman. You can't do a 4-year 24 for Stammer. Total BS press conferences, both sniff playoffs and lose early. He should be fired. Listen, those are all excellent arguments. I get it. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Corey Long's going to join us. He's been covering this Lightning team for a long time for NHL.com. We might even sneak in a little college football and Bucks talk with him as well. Quick break. We're brought to you by the Golden Diamond Source. The 4th of July sale is on, my friends. That boom you hear is all the great deals going on over at the Golden Diamond Source. They got that 5 years, no interest financing. Get a $5,000 piece for just $83 a month. All kinds of great sales and selection during their 4th of July sale. So get on down there. In fact, they're open on 4th of July, special hours from 10 to 5 o'clock. So before you get to the fireworks, head on over to the Golden Diamond Source and get something flashy. Get that bling. Yeah, it's great folks over there, as patriotic as they get. They love America at the Golden Diamond Source. Love those folks, Julie and Steve Weintraub. So get on over there and keep it local in Tampa Bay. Best in the business, in business for over 40 years, the Golden Diamond Source. Back in 3. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business.
Take your business or nonprofit to the next level with the power of video. Red House Streaming offers complete field production services. Our experience and expertise has you covered every step of the way wherever you want to go. From initial concept to final delivery, we'll handle it all and bring your vision to life. As your all-in-one production partner, we offer comprehensive marketing packages that not only showcase your brand, but amplify your reach. Contact Red House Streaming today.
Let's go! Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here. Brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Need a new primary care physician, someone who will actually spend time with you and ask you what's your diet like, what's your exercise routine like, how are you sleeping? Doctors should be asking you that question. If your doctor is not, then you need Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Chris Lugo, because that's what he does. Looks at your blood work, spent over an hour and a half with me on our first visit. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Take it seriously. Have someone that's interested in your medical background and will spend their needed time. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. All right, let's welcome in our good friend, Corey Long, covers the Lightning for NHL.com and writes about football, a true Renaissance man. I don't know what the hell's going on with his phone. What's up, Corey? How are you?
I'm doing well, buddy. How you doing? I was listening to Bay Area Modern Medicine. I'm like, they're going to put me in 15 minutes. They can put me through a whole gym workout. I ain't got to go to the gym. I'm into it.
No, not in 15 minutes.
5,400 crunches ever. 5,400 crunches. It's cumulative. I haven't done 54,000 crunches. My God,
I don't think any of it. That's the point of the machine, bro.
What's a crunch?
What's a,
Yeah.
like Nestle Crunch?
Yeah. I done Captain Crunch and about 54,000 gallons of Captain Crunch in my life.
Absolutely.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Those are the crunches I know about.
Lord.
I love you, man. So I get a text because I haven't called my good friend Corey in quite. I'm trying to give you a break for the summer until I use you up during football season. But he's like, I want to get on and I want to talk about this and I want to hear from you because I don't know where you're going with this Stamkos thing, but I'm interested to find out because I know you've known him for a long time and you've covered him and and I also know that you can be very objective about things. So I'm interested to hear your take on this, on Stamkos leaving.
Well, let's start with the easy part first. Steven Stamkos is for 16 seasons he was he was the leader captain, came in as a 18-year-old rookie. We really saw him grow as a person, saw him grow as a player, saw him growing, as a leader, as a family man, and it's a sad day that he's not, still part of the Tampa Bay community. From what I understand, his family they're moving, and that was one of the big reasons why he chose Nashville is because he felt like it was a great place to raise his family. So, it's not just you're not just losing a player, you're not just losing a cornerstone of a franchise, but you're really losing one of the great people in the community. So, let's get that out of the way. Just there's nothing but superlatives you could say about Steven Stamkos if you spend any amount of time around him. He's just his work ethic, his professionalism. He's a gentleman. You just celebrate everything that he does because he's one of those guys that you want good things to happen for.
Yep.
And he's earned everything he's got, and he's earned his whether we he got another big contract. And he earned it. He didn't go out there and fall on his ass a bunch of times and someone gave him $8 million a year as a thank you gift. He went out there and he's earned it. He shows it every night. He brings it the best he can. Now, the couple things I will say. You've been to a lot of Breeze Blah press conferences. I've been to all of them since he became GM. He is so, oh my God, how do we say? He is just sharp. He's always sharp. I mean, just looks good. Amazing communicator. Yesterday was not that day. You saw a guy with, you could tell he hadn't slept much. He was stumbling over some words. He was, it was a tough day for him. You could tell a lot of emotions has been getting to him over the last few days, with obviously the Stamkos move, probably the Sergachev trade as well, just the moves that he made. And, he was stuttering over his words a little bit. It was not, he's normally just so sharp and direct that, I say, like, guy's a machine. And with him not being that way yesterday, you could tell everything took a lot out of him. Now, I'll say a couple things for that. He's getting a lot of all the heat is coming onto him, and that's part of the GM. But you and I both know, we're both smart enough to know that they have the most tenured coach in the NHL by a long shot, and he has so much say in the roster of guys that he wants to coach. No one here can tell me for a second that if he wasn't adamant that Steven Stamkos be on this roster next year, that Steven Stamkos would be here. Again, that's not saying throw all your fire at John Cooper. It's saying this was not just a singular business decision. Don't tell me for a second that John Cooper was in there saying, that he wanted the guy to stay and they couldn't make it happen. I think that I do believe that there was sincere efforts to keep him if the numbers worked out to where they wanted him to. Obviously, once we saw the terms of the Nashville deal, the Lightning could not have matched that until they made the Sergachev trade anyway.
No way.
So, it wasn't even a possibility of matching that or coming close to it until they made the Sergachev trade. Now, I look at this, and I look at this from, a standpoint of where I take the emotional attachment away from the player that I really enjoyed covering, that I enjoyed watching, that we enjoyed seeing all of his milestones, seeing him, his 3-minute shift in the 2020 Stanley Cup to score a goal and to hoist the cup twice. I take all those emotions out. I listen to the words that Julien Brisebois said, and I do believe that he believes that they are if they are a better team today by signing Jake Gensel and by going that route. Now, you have to understand, this is the first time in his 6 years as a GM that he's had the chance, that he's had the cap space to really make a big ticket purchase in free agents. It's always been about either extending the guys that you can, fitting stuff in the cap, making the additions that you can around the edges.
Making choices about who we can do without more than anything else. Not who we can go get. It was like, who am I going to do without? Who do I have to trade? Right.
Yeah, the tough decisions with Killorn and Palat and, all of these things. So this was a chance for him. Yeah, this was a chance for him to actually put his own stamp on this organization. He was no longer, when he took the GM spot, he had to, things had to get done. They made the Coleman trade. They made the Goodrow trade. But the team, the core was set. A lot of things were set. They needed to fill in the edges. Now this was his chance to actually make the move and put his stamp on his team. And he could have taken the easy way out. He could have used the money to sign Jake Gensel and re-sign Stamkos, kept the team at pretty much status quo. I don't think anybody would have been mad. The fans would have been happy. So I have a high level of respect for him just making this decision, because I saw yesterday how tough it was for him to do it and how he feels like he's doing the right thing. And sometimes when you want to do the right thing, it's hard.
Right.
It's really hard in this business, and we've seen a lot of things we never thought we'd see as we get older. We're about the same. We're in the same age bracket. We saw Wayne Gretzky become an LA King. We saw him become a St. Louis Blue. We
Tom
saw
Brady became
Michael
a Buccaneer. Tom Brady became a Buccaneer.
Michael Jordan played for the Washington Wizards. Nobody wants to play for the Washington Wizards. Yeah, he played for the Birmingham Barons. So we've seen a lot of things.
Yes.
And, I look at this and I called you for two reasons. And it was just to say, one, I think they got a hell of a player, Jake Gensel. I think he can do a lot. I think he's going to be dynamic on this team. He's played with guys at this level. He's won a cup. He's been taught well. He knows what it takes to win. He does the things that it takes to win. I think this community is going to be very excited about him. He's never, he's going to have to play his game. He can't worry about replacing Stamkos. That's always, he did replace Stamkos. I mean, the numbers say that that's what happened. But
that's it.
He's his own person, and I think he's going to make. I think he's going to help the Lightning win a lot of games. I think the fans are going to enjoy the way he plays. I think the world of him. He's 29. He'll be 30 when the season starts. So, you're getting a guy that's right in the prime of his career. He's played with Sidney Crosby. He's played with Evgeny Malkin. He knows how to play with top guys, future Hall of Famers. He's excited to play with Pointer, excited to play with Kucherov. He understands that he talked about the winning pedigree and wanted to be part of that. So that's one thing. The other thing I say is that don't underestimate the influence that John Cooper had on this decision, people.
Yeah.
Don't sit around there and say, this JBB, this. John Cooper has a hell of a lot of say on this team, all right?
And to that point, we know what John Cooper's message has always been to this team. I mean, and what is that? Let's say it together, Corey. If you don't give up three, you're going to win.
If you don't you give up. Yeah, you give up less. As long as you don't give up three, you get a chance to win every game.
Exactly. And it's all
you're
about
walking after a 2-1.
Yeah, defense, and Jake Gensel is a better, more responsible player at this time of his career, and nobody wants to say it. But if you put a blind resume over these two players and say which one do you want on your team for the next 5 years, you're going to say Jake Gensel.
You're going to say Jake Gensel, yeah.
Yeah, if you know anything about hockey. But unfortunately, we don't do it. There's human beings involved. And the question is, like, to me, I don't think that's a question. That's a hockey decision, and that's the right decision. My question is, could you not have kept Steven Stamkos and Jake Gensel? I think that's where the fans are. And I think your question about John Cooper is 100% accurate. And I think John Cooper is like, well, if it's either or, I want Gensel. But the question is, could they? And then the question would come to Cooper or whomever or the organization. Well, can we keep both? And how would that work? Would Stamkos go to a third line? Would he? Obviously he'd still be on your power play. He'd still be in the room. Would he get less ice time? How those conversations going to go? Is that disrespectful for him to be playing 14 minutes a night? Is he still going to play 18 minutes? And if he is that going to be a defensive liability? And by the way, I don't want to throw all the defense. The reason this team was bad defensively wasn't just Steven Stamkos. There were a lot. No. And bringing Ryan McDonough back obviously helps you tremendously there. So I think the fans are right to have a lot of questions. And I do think, and I want to ask you about this. Stammer's interviews to me were sobering. And maybe it's just emotion talking, and he admitted that. But he was very clear that he did not feel wanted by this organization. And that's where I think the fans are really upset, is they feel that he was disrespected. I think they can understand hockey arguments a little bit, but they really feel that he was disrespected. And Stamkos I think he said it pretty clearly that he felt like he was not wanted in Tampa Bay. That's what surprised me more than anything else. I thought this organization valued him higher. I'm not criticizing the organization. That surprised me. Did it surprise you?
I look at it and I say that I don't think they didn't want him. I think the value in him, I think they understand the value in him in a lot of areas. And I don't think that changed. I do think that when you get down to these numbers, these decisions, it's just everybody, there's a lot of emotions at play. There's a lot of sensitivity at play. There's a lot of, it's just, any contract negotiation, and we've both been in them in our own world, they're never pretty. They're not good. I've never been in a good contract negotiation in my life. I mean, the one at ESPN absolutely sucked. I've never been in a good one. I've never walked out of a contract negotiation thinking like, oh my God, I'm so happy to be here.
That was fun.
that was a great 12 hours of my employer telling me how much I suck and how much they want me to take $25,000 less this year. That was amazing.
Yeah,
I feel so much better and encouraged about working here.
Were you surprised by Stammer's comments?
No, not really, because I do think there have been a lot of hard feelings for a few weeks. I felt that way listening to when Rebois held the Zoom call on Friday, and he that was that it wasn't happening. Yeah, that lets you know that there's that either side was really happy with what the other side was saying, and they both have their reasons for that. Obviously the player should value himself as high as he can, and obviously management is looking at things from a lot of different angles. And I think and when the Sergachev trade went down, I think we all thought, okay, this is what's going to do it. This will take care of it. They're gonna do right. They're gonna get this done. I have no doubt that Steven Stamkos will be back here. Wasn't really even thinking about the bringing in a free agent or anything like that. So so that was a surprise. But I've always tried to look at it like I've been around long enough to know that more times than not these things don't end well, and now you're just hoping that the reconciliation 2, 3, 4 years from now will go better than this contract negotiation one. You don't want it. Yeah, I think it will. I think it will.
He'll always be welcome back here.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't pretty with Marty. It was okay with Vinny, but it wasn't pretty with Marty. I mean, there was a lot of.
That was
He wasn't put on Team Canada. There was some hard feelings out of that one. And I'm not getting with Eisenman not putting him on Team Canada. That was a truly a breaking point for him. So
that was nasty.
Yeah. So, but that the organization and him made up. They figured out a way to put water under the bridge. And you're not going to erase 16 years and all of this success, and in a short period like this. It happened. It's unfortunate it happened. I think we all would feel a lot better if 91 was coming back, if the captain was coming back. He's not going to be. He'll be coming back with Nashville, and it's going to be a hell of a send-off that he gets. It's going to be an amazing, emotional night when he comes back. But we're all. Heck, we're all going to be kind of Nashville Predator fans. As you,
I know,
I
am.
I know a little more of the.
I am.
As you and I know more of the like the internal stuff with the Lightning organization, the Predators organization. I was telling somebody, the Bill Wickett takeover continues.
That's right. Sean Henry and Bill Wickett were a huge. It was a huge part of this, and not like we're not saying that they came in here and plundered Steven Stamkos, from us. That's not what I'm talking. Like Lightning opened the door, and those guys were more than happy to. They've been lifelong friends of Steven Stamkos since he was 18 years old. Both of those gentlemen, and he feels very much at home in Nashville because of those two guys, and that's good work by them. Now he's going to have to live up to a hell of a contract. In 2 years, will they be as thrilled with this contract in Nashville as they are today? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Absolutely. If they're holding the cup, they will be. If they're not, they won't be. All right.
Yeah,
that's how it kind of works. All right. Before you go, can you give me a little bit of this team as it sits right now? Lilleberg re-signed. Gerslinkis coming in, adding some fourth line nastiness, and this geeky kid, and JJ Moser. These are interesting players here that change the dynamic of what the Lightning look like on the ice. They're younger, they're faster. Now, I'm not here to say Geeky's coming in to be the rookie of the year. We don't know that. If he's ready or not, we'll see. But the dude has got some very interesting traits about him. 11th overall pick, scored 96 points in 50-some games in the WHL. He's 6'4". He's got a little edge to him. Your thoughts on where the Lightning are right now?
Yeah, well, first with Moser, you're getting a 24-year-old guy that's going to be in your top four. He's plays 20 minutes a night. I think he had about 31 points last year for the Coyotes. Young guy, very good skater. I think he's going to learn well under Hedman and McDonough. I think there's a lot. He's got plenty of good game left to him, and I go into Sergachev trade in a little bit, but I like Moser as a young guy, as a young replacement he's got 3 years of NHL time already under his belt, so he's familiar with the league. So he's going to come in and he's going to be ready to roll. I'm headed to a development camp now to check out Connor Geeky. He's 20 years old, 11th overall pick. I think he's going to start the season in Syracuse, but he gives the Lightning a prospect they haven't had since Brayden Point.
That's right.
A big time center that they think can be 30 plus goal scorer in the NHL. He's a big kid. He's a physical kid. I think they're going to like his effort. They're going to like the way they're going to like his shot. They're going to like the way he can physically handle himself in those tight areas. And the Lightning, because they've been going all in, they haven't had prospects like this in a while. And one of the things they were going to have to do was rebuild their forwards on the big team and rebuild some of their forward depth within the pipeline. And this is a big piece. So I was always a big fan of Sergachev. I feel like his best hockey is still ahead of him. But I don't know if he was ever going to get there in Tampa, because I don't know that I never saw him have the edge that he wanted to overtake Victor Hedman as the number one guy. I agree. I think he was content where he was, and now in Utah,
he wasn't
he's going to have
developing.
to own that blue line. Yeah. And in Utah, he's going to have to own the blue line. He no longer has, those guys to lean on. You could see
different times where they would put Sergachev on the number one power play line, and they would switch up the pairings and say, you know what, let's see if he's got the bite to take over this and really be the number one guy that we're paying him to be. And I think he can be that. I just don't think it can happen here. I don't know that this hunger was what he needs to happen here. So
that's a great point.
I wish him luck. I wish him luck too. They were both great guys to deal with, and they were great guys to deal with. And I'm happy that that this organization had the success that they had with both of them. You know, I mean, that never gets erased. That never goes away. No one can take those Stanley Cups away. No one can take those memories and those moments away.
All right, partner. Great stuff as always. Next week when we have you on, I want you to look at that Florida State class that's coming in, the high school recruits. You correctly said the last few years they were very inept in that level of recruiting, but this year, they get it done, brother.
They're heating up a little bit.
Yeah,
I think they realize if they want to join they want to join the big boy conferences, you're gonna have to have that foundational talent. You gotta have it.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk about that next week. Thank you for your time, my friend.
Sounds
Great
good.
stuff as always.
Take care.
All right.
Take care, JP. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great holiday.
You're the best. Follow Corey Long at COREYLONG on the X machine. Great follow. Very funny dude on X. And
he definitely is. Yeah.
Love him. And I think there was a great perspective about the Breezeball press conference. I noticed that, and I don't know if he just got done reading the comments on the Instagram post. Because I mean, you can't be human and read that stuff and it not affect you. I mean, when hundreds and hundreds of people are just calling you the worst human being on the planet,
and they're
your Lightning fans, unsettling is the word, but that's his job. And I can say this: I'd rather have a general manager that leans to that side than the other side. Sentimentality is great for you fans. It gets you fired as an executive. And those are the hard lessons that you have to learn if you're going to be great at this job. And he will live and die on these decisions. So,
I mean, the bottom line is it's sports. For us as fans, it's fun, but it's a business. It's a business to make money, and you make money based on if you win. And if you're not winning, you're not going to have a job. So general managers, owners, they cannot let their emotions and their, friendships, their familiarity with these players, which are really their products, right, for their company, for their business. They cannot let emotions get involved in their business decisions. And bottom line, this looks like it was a business decision, and it looks like it was made earlier than recently, right? Like, so.
No, I still think that this was a process. I think it was a process. And I think they needed to see how Steven Stamkos was going to play this year. And as I said, the Evans and Stamkos situations are very similar. And where it gets twisted is the 41 goals. Like everyone looks at that and they're like, wow, he's still, as great as and those count. Those count. There's no question about it. But if you're a general manager and you have to dig a little bit deeper into the analytics and see where your team was 5-on-5. And again, this is not all Stamkos' fault. This team being subpar 5-on-5 is not all Stamkos' fault, but he bears a large responsibility in that. But that being said, I still think there's something else that we don't know. I don't know what it is. I wish I could tell you, but there's still something that does not add up because the Lightning seem to have found a lot of money for a lot of other players.
Yeah.
And it's not just Stamkos' fault. And he brings so much more to the table. And I'm here to tell you, you don't pay for sentimentality. You don't pay for what you have done. You pay for future performance if you're doing your job correctly. And $8 million a year for 4 years is overpaying for Steven Stamkos. The Lightning were never going to do that, nor should they. It's different in Nashville. Every team has different needs, different cap situations. So to them, it's worth it. And we'll see if it is. But Stamkos would have taken less than that to stay. I don't know how much less.
Right.
But his comments about not being wanted. That's a personal perception. He admitted that. It's emotional for him, and he wanted to feel more loved. We all do, right? He didn't feel that. That's where, to me, the whole disconnect is. And I think that's where the disconnect is for the fans. I think the fans can clearly understand from a hockey standpoint this decision. I think it's the ancillary stuff that they don't understand. And I am with you. And I don't know if we'll find out something else later on down the line. But if we it'll be sure interesting when the 30 for 30 comes out, right?
May very well get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe I'll produce that. Who knows?
There's something else we were going to produce too, right? I don't remember what the other.
I got so many good 30 for 30s I need to produce. To me, I want to watch them. Anyway, I don't know if anybody else does, but that's one certainly that the Lightning fans would want to watch. And it's funny how, things for people get a lot more honest 4 or 5 years down the road than at the moment. So, and I think that's, it's probably for good reason in a lot of different ways. All right, we got to hit one more break. And when we come back, I want to talk about the United States men's national team. I have a rant. I know, right? And a couple other things I got to get to. So quick break. We're brought to you by the Golden Diamond Source. The 4th of July sale is on, folks. They will be open on the 4th of July. So Thursday, go on there and get big bang for your buck, as we like to say. And if you want to trade in any of your old gold jewelry or any jewelry at all, just bring it in. They're paying the highest prices right now. So if there's ever been a time where inflation is what it is, you got some jewelry you don't ever wear anymore, bring it in, get some money for it, invest that money, do whatever you want with it. If it's just sitting in your jewelry box, it ain't doing you any good. So bring it on into the Golden Diamond Source and get paid for it and put it towards something shiny that you like, that you will wear. How about that idea? The Golden Diamond Source, 5 years interest-free going on right now, and they'll be open 10 to 5 on July 4th. Get on down there and tell them JP sent you. Back at 3. As we head into summer and hurricane season, you must make sure that your home is fully insured. Over 40% of people in Florida are not fully insured because property rates have gone up lately. Your home is worth more, so it needs to be insured. Call the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799 to make sure you're fully insured. And also, you might just save some money. There are new companies coming into the state all the time. In fact, we just shopped our homeowners insurance, and I'm telling you, folks, we saved over $550 because Charity, the great customer service at Italiano Insurance, did all the work and found us a better company and a cheaper company. She'll do the same for you. 813-877-7799. Do something about these high rates. Shop them around. Could save you lots of money. It's Italiano Insurance, been doing business here locally for over 60 years. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you. JP here for TryHydrateHeroes.com. That's our new website where you can get a free 3-pack of the great Hydrate Heroes Electrolyte Hydration Drink, all for free. Just go to TryHydrateHeroes.com. We'll send you a 3-pack. While you're there, go ahead and buy the 30-pack for just $29.99. Special going on. Less than $1 a serving. For all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. Folks, a lot of these hydration drinks have tons of sugar, tons of calories. Hydrate Heroes, just 5 calories, and they have all the electrolytes in there, plus other stuff that's going to benefit you. A mushroom blend that will help with inflammation. So much other good stuff in there. None of the bad stuff. It's Hydrate Heroes. Go to TryHydrateHeroes.com and get your free 3-pack. The new Tropical Punch flavor is out, and it is fantastic. They'll send you some. Just go to TryHydrateHeroes.com. Get all the information there. Pick up a 30-pack as well. TryHydrateHeroes.com. All the good stuff, none of the bad stuff.
Hey, Tampa Bay sports fans. This is 2-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
Summer is here, and it's the perfect time to shine with the exquisite June birthstones, Pearl, Alexandrite, and Moonstone at the Golden Diamond Source. Each gemstone carries its own unique significance and style, making them perfect for any summer occasion. Did you know the 30th anniversary milestone is Pearl, the traditional stone for this special occasion? And right now you can enjoy 5 years of interest-free financing. That means you can own a stunning $5,000 ring and pay only $83 a month with zero interest for 5 years. That's a great deal. And shop online and get 15% off the June birthstones. And we love our partners, local businesses that have been here for 40 years. That's right, the Golden Diamond Source has been here for 40 years. Julie and Steve Weintraub have done so much in our community. We thank them, and we shop there. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Happy summer.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Brought to you by the great folks at the G's Law Group, JEEBESLawGroup.com. Give them a call, get that free case evaluation. Got something going on with somebody? You want a lawyer to represent you? Shout to you. Absolutely tear them a new one. Love that. Lawgroup.com. All right, finishing up comments today. JBB and Jeff Vinny kept stammering in the dark and didn't tell him how important he was is criminal, JP. It's obvious they treated him like a B player, not a Hall of Famer. I hear you, brother. I don't know if it's specifically they did that because what are they going to do? Come out and say Stammer sucks and we're not re-signing him? I mean, that would be really disrespectful. All right.
Could they have said, look, we've appreciated his time here. He's a legend in Tampa Bay, but the organization feels like we need to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's not disrespectful. That's just brutal honesty, right? I mean,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the fans would have reacted to that, though.
I think that's kind of what JBB wanted to say
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Thomas Castor says Breezeball covered for Vinnick at his press conference on Lightning YouTube. Stamkos made his decision months ago. From what Stammer said, you know, that this process has been ongoing for a while, which I think
Right.
isn't that called tampering?
Yeah. I don't know. Does the NHL have tampering?
I think maybe. I don't know. It's not as obviously as cut and dried as maybe the NFL.
No.
Resource says, thank you, John Gerber, for that Cam Davis ham sandwich pick at
How about that?
55-1, huh?
How about that on his
You're not
long
following-
shot?
What's his matchup record? It's like
48, 16, and 3 before this weekend, and he went 2-1 this weekend. So 50, 17, and 3.
So we'll you know, we tweet him out every week. He comes
Yeah.
on the show. If you're not following, you're not winning.
That's it.
Thomas also says everyone who questions Stamkos' decision needs to rewatch the first round of the playoffs. Well, he was pretty good there. 5 goals.
Yeah, this is comments music, James. Yeah.
That's what we do. All right. Thank you, guys.
He's the one that didn't like it when we debuted it. I think James is the one that didn't like it, and he said to get rid of it. So I turned it up louder.
All right. So they sucked me back in last night, Timmy Ham. Every 2 years or so, they tell me it's a big tournament, it's golden generation, United States men's national team. We've never been better, never had better players. They're all playing on Europe, blah, 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 blah. They suck. They suck, and I hate myself for getting sucked back in. I was out, and then they brought me back in.
This is the soccer team you're talking about,
The
right?
soccer team.
What I refer
United
to
States
as
men's national team.
what I refer to as field foosball.
Carly Lloyd, of all, you know, last night after they lost to Uruguay and couldn't beat Panama and get out of the easy, they gave them a freaking layup group and they couldn't even get out of that in the Copa America that they're hosting. Absolutely embarrassing on so many levels. And Carly Lloyd of the women's national team, who won championships and World Cups and all that, she said it last night. She said, you know, these players are not being held accountable by their coach and their organization. They're babied, they're coddled. She didn't say that, but that's what she meant. She said, I loved it. She was so candid. She said, we hated our coaches. But they busted our ass. And that's the way it needs to be. This golden generation is, if the coach says something mean to them, then you get their panties in a wad. The players need to step up, and the freaking coaching. Berhalter, I'm sorry, you're gone. You're toast. You're done. They need a new voice. There's no question about that. I don't care if it's 2 years out from this. Just this status quo is awful. This is what we are in this country. This is what we've become. Mediocrity is celebrated. As long as you say the right things that are politically correct, that's all that matters. Winning, who cares? Let's get back to winning effing matters. And go effing win something, you men. Win something. Win a group. Win a big game. You haven't won a big game in freaking 30 years. And I'm so tired of talking about it and everybody getting excited about it. And you come out and you just flop. And to listen to the players last night, it's like, oh, we showed well. No, you didn't. You sucked. And you haven't won a damn thing.
They didn't even score, right, against Uruguay?
No. We had chances. You couldn't finish. Couldn't finish in a whorehouse with a fistful of hundreds. None of you. It's awful. I
got to write that one down.
It's just they got to be better. And I don't. It's definitely need new leadership. There's no question about that. Go find somebody that doesn't have an American accent, by the way. Somebody who knows a little bit more about what real winning on a national, international level is about. And I know that's not the only answer, but it's got to be somebody different and outside this federation that we have right now. They need somebody to come in here and shake this thing up big time. And can it get worse? How can it be any worse? You couldn't get out of the group in Copa. Are you freaking kidding me? It can't get worse. I don't care.
1 goal in 2 games.
Awful.
Wow.
Absolutely freaking awful. Put the damn women out there. They'd be better. I swear to God. At least they know how to win.
The U.S. women's national team could beat one of these generic men's national teams from Uruguay or Canada or New Zealand?
No, I'm not going to go crazy, but
all right.
At least they, I don't know. That this is just absolutely completely unacceptable. I'm so sick of talking about them. And now we're going to host a World Cup, and we're going to be able to give us an easy group again, and we won't even be able to get out of that.
I mean, because they have to be in it, right? Since they're the host team.
Yeah,
that's a rule, right?
Yeah, but they can't. If they don't get out of the group, it's an embarrassment.
Just like every team.
And yes, we could talk about the ref last night, who was just awful. Oh my God, it's just that it's like it's amateur hour. The whole damn thing. And you compare the Copa America to what's going on in Europe, and you watch these games, and it's like, other than Argentina and Brazil, obviously, and Uruguay, I guess, it's a different level. And the U.S. men's national team is not even sniffing it last night. They can't. Their possession is awful. They can't finish. They don't put plays together. They look like they're just out there running around and hoping a bounce goes their way. It's just awful. Anyway, so that's that. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Peter Blake will be joining me. I may or may not be in for the whole show. We got a little trip to Atlanta coming up this weekend to go get the kids, but we'll be popping in and out. But my great co-hosts here, Tim Ham and Peter Blake and Nick Geddes, will be handling everything, and I'll be popping in and out. So we'll be around. Happy July 4th, everybody. Don't worry, Lightning fans. The sky is not falling. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Have a great day, everybody. F you, and F you. Peace out. I'm going to go have a Guinness.
Struggling.